Marco Polo was a merchant and explorer who traveled throughout the Far East and China for much of his life. His stories were the basis for what much of Europe knew about ancient China for many years. He lived from 1254 to 1324. Marco lived in China for many years and learned to speak the language. He traveled throughout China as a messenger and spy for Kublai Khan. He even traveled far to the south to where Myanmar and Vietnam are today. During these visits, he learned about different cultures, foods, cities, and peoples. He saw many places and things that no one from Europe had ever seen before. Marco was fascinated by the wealth and luxury of the Chinese cities and of Kublai Khan's court. It was nothing like he had experienced in Europe. The capital city of Kente was large, well organized and clean. Wide roads and huge civil engineering projects like the Grand Canal were well beyond anything he had experienced back home. After he returned to Europe, he told his stories to a writer who would eventually publish them in the Travels of Marco Polo. Okay, so we should have notes for who established the Yuan dynasty, how was race utilized in the Yuan dynasty, what were the Yuan dynasty's views on religion, the different aspects, at least three aspects of the Yuan dynasty's rule that helped establish and maintain it. Okay, so how did they begin it? How did they help maintain that? How did the Yuan dynasty influence the Silk Road? Who was Marco Polo? And what was Marco Polo impressed by on his travels to the Far East? So take some time from your highlighting and notes, fill in these. Again, you'll use these to answer the exit tickets. You'll have your notes organized within each question so you can easily answer those exit tickets. All right, so take some time to do that. All right, our last questions, we actually have some extra text for that, and we have some vocabulary. Number 8, according to the above excerpt from the Travels of Marco Polo, how did the Great Khan govern the provinces of China? So you'd want to read through this. All right, the Great Khan had chosen 12 barons, persons of high rank, to whom he hath committed all the necessary affairs of 34 great provinces of China. To every province is assigned a judge and several clerks. These judges and clerks administer all the affairs of the provinces to which they are attached, under the direction of the 12 barons. Howbeit, when an affair is of very great importance, the 12 barons lay in before the emperor, and he decides as he thinks best. But the power of those 12 barons is so great that they choose the governors for all of those 34 great provinces that I have mentioned. Those 12 barons also have such authority that they can send the armed forces wherever and in such strength as they please. This is done, of course, with the emperor's awareness, but still the orders are issued on the authority. They are called the Supreme Court, as is the place where they abide. This body forms the highest authority of the court of the Great Khan, and indeed they can favor and promote whomever they wish. Okay, so an excerpt from Marco Polo should help answer the question, how did the Great Khan govern the provinces of China? And Marco Polo lays it out in that excerpt. All right, and here is Marco Polo's description of the Hangzhou in China. All the streets of the city are paved with stone or brick, as indeed are all the highways throughout this area, so that you ride and travel in every direction without inconvenience. This city of Hangzhou is the home of one of the kings who rules over 100 great and wealthy cities. In the whole of this part of the country, there are more than 1,200 great cities, without counting the towns and villages, which are also in great numbers. All right, and it explains some of the terms without convenience, meaning easily, in the country, referring to Yuan Dynasty's territory at that time. All right, so you want to imagine that you're a European person reading Marco Polo's description of China and answer the question, what would you think about the region after reading it? And you can just, as of now, just circle one of those, read through them and circle one. And again, when the exit ticket comes up, it'll be a multiple choice question. Okay, our vocabulary, I'll read through those quickly, and then that will complete this reading of the worksheet. Okay, the vocabulary, syncretism, the combining of several originally discrete traditions. Nautics, relating to or associated with seamen, navigation, or ships. Metallurgy, art and science of extracting metals from their ores and modifying the metals for use. Conquest, the act or process of conquering. Dynasty, a line of hereditary rulers of a country. Conquest, well, the act or process of conquering. I've actually repeated that one. Sorry about that. Empire, a group of nations and or peoples ruled over by an emperor or empress. Nomadic, a member of a people who have no fixed residence but move from place to place, usually seasonally and within a well-defined territory. All right, so that is all of that reading. Again, you should have answers to each of the questions now. You should have some highlights and some notes, and you should organize those highlights, those highlighted areas in the notes into the questions as you go along.